Artefactors Union, Scrapyard, title box. We are doing Mecha-Meemaw, Mah Tucket Mecha-Meemaw, technically. And here is our art, and here's the render. Here is our sprue, and not nearly as many pieces as I was expecting for something that big. Thank you, Weird. But I believe our order of operations is going to be assembling the body, including the legs, then assembling Mah herself, including the head, which is attached to her arm, then doing these two bits that are like held together with pipes, and while those are still curing, we'll jam Mah on top. Kind of a weird order of things, but I already put one together, and these two arms are kind of a pain. Combined A8 and A9. A5 is our front right leg. You can tell they're the front legs because they have the sort of shoulder armor thing to them. And despite it obviously being some kind of giant mechanical spider, it only has 4 legs, so this is the front right leg. A11 is our front left leg. Turn it around. A15 goes right across the back. A3 is our back right leg. A16 is our back left leg. This one has the least solid of a connection point, so I'd say do it last, just so that when you think it's good, you can set it down on its legs, and if it's standing pretty evenly, then you know you're good. A7, complete the big spoon on the back left leg. Moving on to Mah Tucket herself, we've got A6, the chair back is going to go there. A17, the chair back. A14, the torso. I'm going to do the right arm of the chair, and you can kind of see it connects here, but the harder to see one is there's a dot like right there, and that's where it also connects. A12. A13 is the left arm of the chair and has very similar connection points. A20 is the right arm, and please note that this sort of flap right here is a part of the arm bit, and it connects to the chair, so make sure you do that. Before we add the left arm and the spider head, I want to point out that right here on the, it glues right there. Left arm, I think it's A19, I forgot. A10 is Mah's face. A18 is the brim of the hat. A1 is the top of the hat. A2 is next, and I wanted to point out that this sort of line right here is actually the unfinished part of this circle. And it goes in like that. Make sure you get plenty of time to cure partially. A4 will go and connect here and here, like so. A21 is the neck, and you can see how it lines up with A4. Then gently rotate Mah on, starting with the head of the spider, and then planting her butt on the top. Mah Tucket Mecha-Meemaw is done. This model is freaking huge. 50 millimeters is the biggest size base that goes on in Malifaux, and this it's big. It definitely overlaps that base. But not the most difficult builds to do as long as you have a general idea of what it's supposed to look like, and that's what this video is for. So this is her, and she should have an enjoyable time putting it together and definitely painting it. I'm excited to see how people paint up this model. Artefactors Union Scrapyard title box. Today we're going to be assembling Mei Feng. This is her artwork. Here is the render. Here's our sprue. Not a lot here. Gonna be pretty easy. We're actually going to start with E5 the head. Looking at the top, we're going to attach E4 to it, which is the welding helmet. It'll connect across this sort of band across the top of the head, and there's a tooth, which is a connection point to the inside of the mask. Here is E4 the mask, and then there is the connection point. The mask shouldn't slide around, and as you can see, there isn't really any significant gap in there. The headband on her head is what would connect it to the mask in real life, so you can see it aligns with these sort of pegs or whatever that connect it. Grab the torso, E6. This might seem strange, but we're going to put the head on now. Push the neck so that it slides all the way to the back of the collar. You'll know it's in place if there's like no gap here, and the sort of collar that's attached to the back of her neck is flush with the rest of the torso. Now add E3, the right arm and the front of the torso. The reason we attach the head now is if you try to plug it in after you've connected these two pieces, it's kind of wobbly and it's really hard to sort of push it back towards the back of the collar where it's supposed to go, so we did that first. Combine E1 and E2 to make the right arm and the welding gun. The connection point is right there. Please note that the gun will not point straight like you would think on a pistol. It's kind of at this angle, but that's why I'm showing it to you. Now just connect it to the socket in the left shoulder and you should be good. We're all done. Mei Feng Foreman is completed. She is not terribly dynamic, but her original sculpt is extremely dynamic, and I find it nice that we kind of have a more passive and more action-y pose for most of the masters now, and she doesn't need anything exciting. It's really nice to see her just kind of enjoying her job and not having a terrible day. She's had a lot of bad things happen to her in the fluff, so it's nice to see she's just having an okay time. Artefactors Union Scrapyard title box. We're going to be making the Rock Hopper. Here's the artwork. He's adorable. And here is the render. And here is the sprue. Apologies, I accidentally clipped these pieces out early. I was actually assembling another box of this and I got the sprues confused. I guess for reference, H12 there is this sort of foot. And H11 is this leg. It's not the most fiddliest build, but it is somewhat unintuitive at times, so that's what I'm here for. Start with H2. Flip it around. Now glue H1 to it. It'll go on sort of like a backpack, and once you dry fit it, it can actually just stay in place as is. It just kind of clips together real well, but that's how you know it's the right position. We're going to add H3 next. It is going to connect there, go through here, and connect there. And the tubes will actually curve upward, sort of against gravity. There we go. Kind of looks like a tall back collar. Turn so we can see the right side. Now we're going to install bits H8 and H10. H8 is first. And it'll start here, wrap around here, and then go into sort of his armpit. And then H10 will start at roughly the same spot, also wrap around, and then go into this corner. And it'll connect and fit into a sort of a pocket made by H8. Here is H8 installed, and now H10. Grab H9 left arm, and H7 this rock and finger combination. Just jam the other two fingers on the hand into these holes, and you should be able to do just fine, like so. The arm attaches right here. There we are. Now is when we add H6 the head. The connection point isn't too solid, so I'm having you do it now so you can make sure that he's staring at his favorite potato. I misspoke earlier. H12 goes with H13 and H11 goes with H5. H12 and H13, left leg. H11 and H5 make the right leg. Now he has both legs, and the connection points are weak enough in the hips that you can actually tilt them forward and back a little bit. Just make sure that his feet fit flat on the ground. And if you go too far forward, his right arm will kind of poke into the ground. And the right arm, H4, goes in pretty smoothly. There's the Rock Hopper. He is adorable. Not the most terrible build, just some fiddly bits. The weird connection points on the legs are going to give some people fits. And I'm not too certain about where I put the head is where it's supposed to go. I just wanted to make sure he looked at the rock.